Now you know that weather modification is possible. And not only is it possible, it's most probably probable. The idea of a government or some rogue organization being able to control weather, whether it's through some type of directed energy force or cloud seeding, or you know what's here. You know it. I want to read something to you. And this is something which has always been interesting to me, always a source of great fascination. And something which some people just immediately eliminate from consideration. But in 1997, U.S. Secretary of Defense William Cohen declared that there are terrorists at work who, and I quote, are engaging even in an eco-type of terrorism whereby they can alter the climate, set off earthquakes, volcanoes, remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves. Let me say this again. There are terrorists who, quote, are engaging even in an eco-type of terrorism whereby they can alter the climate, set off earthquakes, volcanoes remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves. Now, I'm not so sure about this, and I'm sure neither are you in terms of electronic, waves, electromagnetic waves, and the like. That's a little bit tough. That might be a little bit. Maybe that's the wrong term. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's some type of directional wave or power source, or some directed energy beacon or wave, a Tesla wave, as someone said. But while we're not saying this happened in today's New York City and New Jersey and Connecticut earthquake, with aftershocks felt 4 hours later in New Jersey, minimal, we're not talking major damage. And while we are not saying that is what happened, while we have no proof of it, and while suggesting that that is what was the cause of this is ridiculous, beyond specious, because there's no evidence of such. There's no indicator of such. Why would that be? But if I were to tell you that was happening, would you in any way be surprised? Do you know what that would mean to the future, to the reality of warfare, if I could somehow figure a way to direct energy, to focus energy, to take a tectonic plate, an area of vulnerability, something that is able to be utilized in terms of setting off seismic-like percussions and rhythms and waves and energy pulsations? Wouldn't that be something if I could harness that, direct that? I mean, just think about that. Think about what that would mean. Think about what that would do for the notion of warfare. Think about if I could go out in the middle of the Pacific to an area where I know there is this vulnerability of tsunamis and the like, and I can create an earthquake at this particular part of the Pacific, let's assume, or other parts, causing an earthquake and then causing the ripple and the energy force to be originated. Kind of like when you're in a bathtub, and you shift your weight. You know how the water goes this way and then it goes back that way. Well, that's a tsunami. That's why you can always tell a tsunami is about to hit, because the water goes out first. And people are saying, what is this? What is this, low tide? Boy, that's low tide. And that is the signal of something which is beyond catastrophic. Think about it. No weapons, no warfare, no need for the military-industrial complex, no need for Raytheon or anybody to go out there other than to make the device which, again, theoretically, the device which could be used and concocted to force, to direct this directional energy. And I'm using terms as a layperson. Look, I've got no expertise in this. I'm just telling you what I heard. William Cohen has thought of this. You know, there's a topic which is the most interesting, and that is how no one in this area, no one in our country, no one here for sure, has ever wanted to even address the notion of, and it's a separate subject, the notion of geoengineering, similarly called, incorrectly called and referred to as chemtrails, which is just ridiculous. It's the wrong term and the wrong phrase, but they're called chemtrails of all things. Chemtrails. They're not chemtrails. They're not. It's geoengineering via solar radiation management, carbon dioxide removal. These are actual applications, and you can read about it. And yet, so loath, so wary and chary and dismissive of this idea that people just refuse to acknowledge not only that that particular form of weather manipulation and climate change is possible, but it's already going on. In fact, if you go to geoengineering, just Google it, there it is. It's as simple as that. But yet people don't want to hear that. They don't want to address it. They don't like that. Isn't that something? Isn't it something how people do not want to hear, do not want to address, do not want to even deal with something that they know to be absolutely, positively current and actual and there. Isn't that something? So going back to what I originally said, you know and I know that if we were to be told that, yes, there are means and there are ways and there are applications of energy, directional or otherwise, when applied strategically, can result in, can end up as what amounts to nothing more than just this level of destruction that is almost, if not completely, untraceable. And gone will be the military-industrial complex. Gone will be fighter jets and nuclear bombs. Gone will be all of that unnecessary waste of time. And guess who will be pushing against this? That's right. Cui bono, cui prodest. The people who benefit precisely from those particular items, those particular mechanisms, those particular means of facilitation, they will protest. They will say, this is crazy, and bite your tongue for even suggesting this is possible. Or, even worse, suggesting something to the effect that, okay, I'll make a deal with you. Maybe these forms of weapons, if you have to have weapons, maybe these are more manageable. Maybe these are, dare I say, more natural methods of destruction than bombs and uranium products and the like. Just a thought. Let's don't go too deep into this, please. God knows. But just think about this today. Here I was today in New York City, 10:23 a.m., and I said, I think there's an earthquake. And I went on Twitter right away. Is there an earthquake? I said, yes. Wow. And it got me thinking. And when I get thinking, well, things get interesting. Thanks for watching. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And comment as you see fit.